Well, I'm Dave Bowles, your acting center director, and it's my distinct pleasure to have you all here this morning for this very special event, the selection of NASA Langley as a vertical flight heritage site by the American Helicopter Society. At this point, I would ask you to first make sure your cell phones are silenced, and then please stand for the posting of our country's colors and remain standing for the singing of our national anthem by our own Kerry Goff. Go. Hold. Present. Arm.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Four. Arm. Color. Color third. Arm. All right, well, first of all, thank you, Kerry. Wonderful rendition. Yes. And I want to give a special thanks to the members of our U.S. Air Force, first for their service to our country and then helping us celebrate this event today. So let's give them a round of applause. I'm going to make a few opening remarks, but first I'd like to just recognize some guests we have here today, and then I'll reintroduce them because they all have some remarks, but just let me let you know who we have here because we have a very distinguished group of individuals here today. So first of all, our NASA Administrator, Charlie Boland. If you can raise your hand. Yep, Charlie's here. The NASA Associate Administrator for Aeronautics, Jaewon Shin. The Mayor of the City of Hampton, George Wallace. The Executive Director of the American Helicopter Society International, Mike Hirschberg. And although I'm not sure he's here today, the Chairman of the AHS History Committee, Jacques Verasac. We just want to recognize, Jacques in the back there. Thank you very much. Fantastic. Great. All right, and finally, I just want to thank all of y'all for being here, all of our other friends in the community who have joined us today, our longtime partners from the U.S. Army. We've had a tremendous relationship with them over the past, working rotorcraft and other things here at the center. I see some old friends sitting out in the audience that I haven't seen for a while from the Army, and just others across from industry and academia for being here with us today. So let me make a few opening remarks, and I'll let some of our distinguished speakers say a few things as well. So first, from the earliest days of what were auto gyros that ultimately became helicopters, Langley's been a critical player in the efforts to enhance the understanding of those systems. We've done some amazing work. It's kind of neat today. So in 1939, years before the helicopter came into mass production, our own Dr. Henry J.E. Reed, Langley's engineer in charge, chaired a research session on rotary wing aircraft meeting at the Franklin Institute in 1939. So it's kind of nice that we're sitting in an auditorium named after Henry J.E. Reed today to have this event. So that's very nice. So the foundations of Langley's vertical flight research has always been centered around our world-class employees, a lot of who we have in the audience today, our facilities and our technical capabilities. It's the expertise in fields like aerodynamics, structural dynamics, handling qualities, and acoustics, combined with the experimental research methods and flight testing, and some of the finest facilities in the countries that led to our historical contributions that we're going to be recognized for today. So from evolving areas, including the use of autonomy, electrical power, to addressing barriers that impact the increased use of helicopters, we build on that legacy that we've developed over the past 50, 60, 70 years. So there's no better way to kind of show some of the things we've done in the evolution of vertical flight and our contributions to it than seeing it on video. So we've put together a nice little video today. So we're going to play that now. I think it's about 3 or 4 minutes, but it really kind of covers a lot of what we've done over the past 90 years. So let's roll the video. Wow, that's actually the first time I've seen that video, and I'll tell you, it's amazing. I get just a great sense of pride when I look back and just see all the things we've done over coming up on 100 years here at this site, and it's just amazing the impacts that we've had across the nation. Couple things I wanted to point out. First of all, you might have seen her picture pop up a couple times in the video there, but our own Sue Gordon, who actually is the lead for our rotorcraft activity. Stand up, Sue. Let's get a... I think I saw your picture there a couple times in the video. So Sue just does a fantastic job for ARMD, leading our rotorcraft activities. So thank you, Sue, for all your contributions. The other thing, it talked about new technologies, and we just had a session upstairs, and the blending of rotary wing, rotary craft, and more conventional times. So there was an article last night that made Fox News that talked about our own GL-10. That's really a blending of vertical takeoff, electric propulsion, and so we're doing that kind of cutting edge stuff right now for all different types of applications. So having this ceremony today just is tremendous. You saw a lot of things we've done with the military in that video. In recent years, we've extended our knowledge of helicopter crash worthiness, crash testing not just one, but two former Marine Corps C-Knight helicopters on the video. We continue to collaborate with Army researchers to improve the aerodynamics and fuel efficiency of military helicopters like the Kiowa Warrior. In fact, this year marks 45 years of what's just been a tremendous NASA-Army collaboration here at NASA Langley. And again, I want to thank all of our Army collaborators and partners here at the center. Like I said, I know when I first started here back in the 80s, I actually sat with a lot of our Army fellow colleagues over in the materials division doing materials research, so it's been a fantastic collaborations. Our researchers still wrestle with solving the various challenges associated with vertical flight, but hey, that's what we love to do. That's why we're all here at the center, solving tough problems and understanding how things fly through all flight regimes and all types of different concepts. So it's quite an honor to be up here and be able to talk about this. Now I have a second honor. I get the chance to introduce our first guest speaker, NASA Administrator Charlie Bolden. I'll just say a few words about Charlie. Began his duties as the 12th administrator of NASA back in 2009. Charlie's had a very distinguished career, 34 years in the Marine Corps, including 14 years of that as a NASA astronaut. Flew 4 times in space, commanded 2 missions, so just a tremendous individual. And I'm sure he'll give some very inspiring remarks. Every time I have the chance to interact with Charlie, we spent a couple days, kind of the senior leadership team up in headquarters earlier this week, and it's always a pleasure. So with that, Charlie, please welcome.
Thanks very much, Dave, and thanks to all of you for coming out today. It's a really special day. I want to thank Executive Director Mike Hirschberg. This is super for this honor, to be quite honest with you. And I also want to thank all my friends here at Langley, both at the center but in the community that supports this center so well. We like to say at NASA, and some of you have heard me saying that NASA is with you when we fly. And never at any time in our history has that been more true. A big part of the reason for that is that the men and women of the Langley Research Center. It's more, I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a moment. I've really been looking forward to today because it brings together 2 of my great loves, and some of you may find this strange. Number one is my love of helicopters, and the other is the love of the people here at Langley. Now you say, I thought you flew like jets. And I did for most of my career. I'm an A6 pilot by trade, transitioned to F-18s, but when I left the space program and I came back to the operating forces of the Marine Corps for about 9 years, the one good thing about being a general in the Marine Corps is you own a lot of stuff. And in the Marine Corps, I had the privilege of having an opportunity to get out, and because I like to be with the Marines, but spending a lot of time in the rotary wing side of the Marine Corps. So when people ask me frequently, and they do frequently, what are your favorite aircraft, or what are the favorite things you flew? And while shuttle is up there, I am an A6 pilot, and that is the greatest aircraft that I think God ever allowed man to create. However, second and third, the venerable Sea Knight, the CH-46, the Frog, became one of my favorites in my last 9 years in the Marine Corps. And although I was never a rated pilot in it, I spent a lot of time at the controls of a CH-46 and then the UE. So I've had an opportunity to fly every one of the rotary wing aircraft in the Marine Corps' inventory except for the MV-22. And we talked a little bit about the staff, at the staff meeting this morning, about how do we classify these things, because we're getting into so many hybrids nowadays. But really, it's because of my love for rotary wing aircraft, for vertical flight, that I'm really proud to be here today. As I said, I love flying helicopters, so anytime I get to spend some of my time with fellow vertical flight enthusiasts, for me, it's a good day. Quite frankly, anytime I get to meet with the Langley team, and I said this to the leadership team earlier, it's also a very good day. We had the privilege of being down here a couple of weeks ago for a continuity of government exercise, a COOP exercise, and this facility is just incredible, absolutely incredible. So I compliment all of you, but most importantly, Mayor, I compliment the people of the Tidewater region for supporting Langley in making the decision to modernize and go to a facility like this. We frequently get a lot of resistance from the community because they don't want anything to change. And what was so important in the community working with Langley in bringing about this facility was, I think you all had the vision of knowing what this could be like, but recognizing that some of the old traditional things had to go. So I express my appreciation to you for being partners with the team and bringing that about. You know, I have I don't like catchy phrases and stuff, but I guess if you want to really say, I'm kind of chipper for choppers. I'm glad my granddaughter's on here, because they would look up, all three of them, and they would say, "OG, that's not cute." But since they're not here, I'm chipper for choppers. I'm sure that I don't have to remind anyone in this room about why this work matters, about how 3 million lives have been saved by helicopters over the past 70 years, or about the benefits of being able to go where other vehicles cannot. From the first responders who deploy in air ambulances, to our brave men and women serving overseas, to Coast Guard rescue teams, to moms and dads in every part of our country that anxiously await traffic reports so they can get home to their families a little earlier. Vertical flight technology saves lives. It empowers those who protect our way of life, and it improves our quality of life. What's more, with helicopter production on the rise, vertical flight technology is also producing tangible benefits for our society. Since 2010, civil helicopter production rose from $6.9 billion to $11 billion. There's an also considerable economic benefit from technology spin-offs. And in this case, when I say spin-off, I mean that literally. Take, for example, the advanced airfoils that were designed and wind tested here at Langley. They allow helicopters to fly faster, last longer, and carry heavier loads. This technology is being put to use by Van Horn Aviation, which makes highly durable tail rotor blades that last twice as long as older blades. With this in mind, I want to take this opportunity to thank the American Helicopter Society for bestowing this great recognition on the men and women of Langley. And I want to congratulate Team Langley for being recognized for their important work. There has been flight research, and vertical flight research specifically, here at Langley for longer than there has been a NASA. I want to say that again. You guys are older than us in the new organization. I was saying to the senior staff this morning, I am one who believes in heritage, and so My heritage goes all the way back to the NACA, so we're celebrating 100 years of the heritage of people doing research in aeronautics, and that is something that I do not want to ever be lost on members of the NASA family. We are NACA. That is our heritage, and we cannot forget that. And it's always good. The reason Langley is so special is because it's always good to come back to the mother center. It's sort of like I was born in Columbia, South Carolina, but as an aviator, I was born here because this is where it started, and we should never forget that. Construction on our nation's first civilian flight laboratory here on the banks of the Chesapeake began in 1917, 2 years after the creation of NASA's predecessor, the National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics, or NACA. Research on vertical flight was not far behind. In 1920, NACA released a technical paper that was penned by Langley's chief physicist, E.P. Warner. It was entitled The Problem of the Helicopter. In the years that followed, Langley researchers have provided research and data to the world that have advanced vertical flight and all flight as we know it. They've tested configurations, components, models, innovative concepts, and new flight vehicles. Today, every American helicopter, both civil and military, has NASA-developed technology incorporated into it and onto it. We're not stopping now. We're working with Army researchers, as Dave said, to improve the aerodynamics and fuel efficiency of military helicopters, for example. We're also developing technologies to decrease noise and vibration, and this should have some very significant impacts on civilian helicopter transportation. 2 decades from now, you may very well be able to hop a large 100-passenger rotorcraft in Washington and take it to New York City. And that would go a long way toward easing congestion at our airports and getting you off I-95, going north. Of course, these are just a few examples. Just recently, you might have seen the news reports about the test flight of Grease Lightning. It's sort of a plane, helicopter combo that can take off like a helicopter but looks and flies like a plane. In short, thanks to the diligent work of the team here, I'm confident the future of aeronautics, particularly rotary wing aero, is very bright. For all of us in this field, and for those joining us in the years ahead, the future is going to be a very, very exciting place. So let me say one more time, thanks to all of you for coming out, but most importantly, congratulations, Team Langley. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Charlie. It's always a pleasure to hear you speak and to hear your passion about what we do here at Langley and what we do across the agency, so thank you very much. Now I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Jaewon Shin, a well-known face and figure here at Langley Research Center, and I say that in the most complimentary way. We'd love to have you down here. You were down here about a month ago, and as Charlie said, aeronautics is our heritage dating back to NACA, and we appreciate your leadership of the Aeronautics Research Directorate. Jaewon has been the AA for the Aeronautics Research Mission Directorate since 2008, and without any further ado, let's welcome Jaewon.
Well, good morning. It's really good to be back to my second home, as I call it. My first home used to be Glenn Research Center, as you know, and now it is headquarters in DC. But in my heart, Langley is still my second home. And as Charlie mentioned, it is the mother center. So I like to come and pay tribute to our mother center every chance I get. I can vouch for you that Charlie actually likes to fly helicopters and rotorcraft, and he and I were visiting Ames Research Center some years ago, and I think Charlie would remember. We went into a vertical motion simulator there because we were working on large civil tilt rotor technologies, and he really flew it very well. and I wasn't getting sick at all. But I'd like to thank AHS and Mike for really this wonderful honor, and it's so deserving for, again, our Mother Center in celebrating long and proud history of technical excellence. You just heard from both Dave and Charlie about how NACA and NASA have combined, contributed to the country and also the field of rotorcraft. So I wouldn't repeat that. And I'd like to thank Charlie for his continuous and enthusiastic support for aeronautics. And you may not see that every day, but I see that every day. And he calls it, we like to talk about first A in NASA is aeronautics, right? But Charlie takes one step further. He says, big A in NASA is aeronautics. So appreciate Charlie's continuous support. I think it's so fitting, considering all the video that we saw and all the remarks that Dave and Charlie mentioned. I think it's so fitting that AHS is recognizing the excellence of you folks, people, and facility at Langley. But I want to share some thoughts that our work is not done in rotorcraft, and it's actually getting more exciting. So we just celebrated that 100th anniversary of NACA, and NASA Aeronautics has just, I keep saying just, but it's been 2.5 years. We rolled out new strategy. Charlie did that at the Aviation 2013 in Los Angeles. So we're trying to set up the strong foundation for next 100 years for NASA Aeronautics. So we not only enhance people's lives, but also contribute country's economy and make sure that all aspects of aviation in this country stays as global leader. So that's what we are working on. We've been working very diligently for the past 2.5 years, and rotorcraft work is right in the middle of it as well. So I want to recognize Susan for her excellent leadership one more time, because she has been really national asset in this area. So in fact, a lot of rotorcraft work that Langley is leading, working with other NASA research centers and also industry and government partners, we're going after big challenges, right? So we don't work on any incremental improvement. So within 10 years, our goals call for the fuel consumption reduction as much as by 50%, and perceived noise down by 10 decibel from the current regulation standards. You all know how challenging that may be. The rotorcraft, one of the biggest challenges is the noise. So we are tackling the real hard questions and problems, not the easy ones. You may think these goals are very aggressive. They are aggressive. That's who we are and what we work for. As I mentioned, we don't work for incremental, small step improvement and increase. So I really, again, congratulate everyone at Langley for day in and day out, putting your heart and soul to advance these technologies. But the exciting future that I mentioned, it's probably very difficult for all of us to pass even one day without hearing about UAS or something about that reading on the newspaper or hearing from the media. Media likes to call drones. I like to call it UAS. Somehow in my brain, drones kind of conjure up military applications. So I'm going to talk about UAS a little bit. All these non-aerospace companies are now trying to utilize these small UAS to conduct their commerce applications. And these are really non-aerospace companies. We're talking about Googles and Verizons and those companies, and Alibaba in China, for example. They don't know anything about aviation and aeronautics, but they're trying to do this. What was it that really enabled this new market and new potential and possibility? There could be many, but I think without vertical lift capability and very versatile flying capabilities that rotorcraft can offer, all these would have been just a dream. So today, just about everybody, if you have a few $100, you can go out and buy these small quadcopters or weird-looking small UAS, start flying. But that's not where we're going to stop, right? We're going to continue work on combining vertical lift, that unique capability that no other fixed-wing aircraft can even dream about. Combine that with electric propulsion and power, perhaps autonomy. UAS becomes a poster child of that, but autonomy and this communication and even additive manufacturing. When you combine all these really emerging and exciting technologies, some are coming from non-aerospace sectors, the possibility is really unlimited. And I think that's the possibility that we are really dreaming about. And also the rotorcraft community should be at the forefront of opening up and ushering in this new era of flight. So, are we really looking at the dawn of new era in flight? I like to believe so. And who better can lead that than our Mother Center and also the rotorcraft community? So just imagine, I just drove this morning. Took me 3 hours. Charlie did offer me to fly with him, but I had to go back this afternoon a little earlier than Charlie has engagement down here. So I decided to drive. It was a very pleasant drive, no traffic jam or nothing. Still took me 3 hours, and I only made one quick stop. So just imagine if that unique vertical lift capability, and I'm not a pilot, so I don't know how to fly airplane, but if I can punch some numbers, buttons, and that unique vehicle took me down here for this wonderful event in maybe 1/5 of time, how wonderful would that be? And I think our children could really enjoy that kind of world. And so many congratulations for our hardworking folks at Langley and also management and all the supporting people here. And as Charlie mentioned, the community, we're going to make that happen, right? We are capable of doing that. And that's why we all love to come to work NASA every day. And I know 20, 30 years down the road, we can say we did that. So thank you so much, and appreciate AHS one more time for recognizing that.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jaewon, for your remarks and your continued leadership of the Aeronautics Research Mission Directorate. You do a fantastic job, and we certainly appreciate that. Well, we would also not be here today and doing this fantastic work without the support of headquarters, as Jaewon demonstrates every day, and many of our government leaders. So, 2nd District Representative Scott Ridgell couldn't be here today, but he was kind enough. He represents parts of Hampton that include the city here. He couldn't be with us, but he was kind enough to send along a video of his thoughts and about this ceremony. So I think we're going to show that quick video next. So if we can roll the Scott Ridgel video.
Welcome. I'm Scott Ridgel, and I have the high privilege of serving and representing an incredible district, Virginia's 2nd Congressional District, home to not just one, but 2 outstanding NASA facilities. And so it's a real special privilege to welcome Administrator Bolton and Associate NASA Administrator Shin to the 2nd District of Virginia. Many of you know that I was raised in a NASA home. My father, Ike Ridgel, still doing well at age 92, an Iwo Jima veteran. He went on to serve in the early NASA program. And it was from him and just being raised in his home that I came to have just a real deep appreciation for the importance of space exploration, of research, aeronautical research, and for the country's lead organization in all this, and of course that's NASA. So with all that in mind, I just want to congratulate Director Dave Bowles and the entire NASA team at NASA Langley Research Center for being recognized as a vertical flight heritage site. It's quite an award, and it's well deserved. All of us are mindful of the tremendous impact that NASA Langley has on our community, $700 million per year of economic activity, and all the research that's being done there, including research on renewable energy, which is so important to us, including off the coast of Virginia, so that we can advance wind energy and other renewables. And really support for our military community. Much of what is spun off from NASA does help us to keep our nation safe. And it's the work that's being done right there at Langley and at the Wallops Space Flight Facility on our beautiful eastern shore that makes our region a true leader in the field of aerospace. And it truly makes such a difference to Hampton Roads, our military community, and our entire nation. So congratulations to all of you, and thank you for your dedication to excellence and service.
All right. Very nice remarks. So, getting on to our next speaker. So NASA Langley has been proud to call Hampton home for almost 100 years, coming up in 1917. And we're very happy to welcome back Hampton Mayor George Wallace. Mayor Wallace was elected to Hampton City Council in 2008, served as vice mayor and interim mayor until he was voted to his current term in 2014. So please help me welcome the Honorable George Wallace.
I have a little prepared speech I want to make, but I guess I want to divert and digress a little bit because I need to relate to the fact that I have a little experience in the helicopter industry. I was stationed at Fort Rucker, Alabama during my tour of duty, and we worked with the Hueys, and I worked with clinical psychologists, and we were just initially putting the firing mechanisms for machine guns and rockets there. So that was my experience in fixed wing. So I enjoyed it. It was a good tour of duty. So I too know a little bit about that stuff. I want to join Administrator Bolden and Associate Administrator Shin in congratulating Director David Bowles and all of the employees at NASA Langley Research Center on receiving this prestigious designation as a vertical flight heritage site. For nearly 100 years, NASA has been in our community. The selection of Hampton as the site for the first National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics Research Laboratory was significant and a very significant milestone in our city's 400 years of history. The development of Langley Memorial Laboratories, now Langley Research Center, brought an influx of engineers and economic impact that continues even on today. The technical work done at Langley contributes to the overall culture of Hampton as an incubator for high-tech innovation and new business. NASA Langley is a technology magnet that helps us attract, build, and return our future workforce and instill a great deal of pride for Hampton. As mayor, I'm extremely proud of the work that you are doing here at NASA Langley and the help that it gives to our great nation. Each year, we are pleased to acknowledge the contributions of Langley to our community, the past, the present, and the future. So, I congratulate you on yet another significant milestone and accomplishment. and look forward to many, many more, and I hope I'm still mayor as they arrive. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Wallace, and thank you for your just tremendous support. We're happy and just honored to be a member of the Hampton community, and we look forward to our second 100 years here in the city of Hampton. All right, so our next guest, and the reason that makes the person who's made all this possible, Mike Hirschberg, the Executive Director of the American Helicopter Society International. AHS International is the world's only international technical society for engineers, scientists, and others working on vertical flight technology. It's an honor to have him here today. Mike assumed his duties as AHS Executive Director in 2011 after 20 years in the aerospace industry, primarily in vertical flights. So please welcome Mike Hirschberg.
Thank you, Administrator Bolden, all of our honored speakers here today, and thank you all for coming today to help honor this site. Charlie, I really appreciated your comments. Normally when a NASA administrator talks about vertical flight, you know, it's rockets. So I appreciate your support of rotary wing vertical flight, and, you know, the benefit of rotorcraft and vertical flight is they, you know, obviously go up and they go down safely. The American Helicopter Society International is the world's premier professional vertical flight technical society. We bring together industry, academia, and governments to tackle the toughest challenges in vertical flight. AHS was founded in 1943 in Stratford, Connecticut, just weeks after the first Sikorsky contract for production of the XR-4 helicopter, the helicopter shown here in the NASA Langley Wind Tunnel. That was the first American helicopter to go into production, and so AHS was born at the same time as the American helicopter industry. For more than 70 years, AHS has been the primary forum for interchange of information on vertical flight technology. From advocating for vertical flight research and development, to developing our next generation of engineers and scientists, to initiatives to reduce accidents and community noise, AHS helps lead the way. The AHS International Vertical Flight Heritage Sites program is intended to recognize and help preserve sites of the most noteworthy and significant contributions made in both the theory and the practice of helicopter and other vertical flight technology. AHS hopes to promote to the public the rich history of the worldwide vertical flight community through this program. We started the Heritage Sites program in 2013 with the recognition of the Franklin Institute in Philadelphia, the site of the original 1937 rotary wing aircraft meeting, which was the world's very first technical conference on rotorcraft. And by the way, this is the same conference where Dr. George Lewis in 1938 and Dr. Henry Reed in 1939 chaired research sessions, as Mr. Bowles just mentioned. Last year in Montreal, Quebec, we recognized the site of the development and production of the Pratt & Whitney Canada PT-6 engine, one of the first production helicopter turboshaft engines. Knowing that our 71st anniversary annual forum would be here, held in nearby Virginia Beach, with this year being the 100th anniversary of the NACA, the members of the AHS History Committee thought we should recognize the incredible legacy of contributions to vertical flight that were made here at the Langley Research Center. AHS has long supported NASA's rotorcraft and vertical flight development efforts and has advocated strongly on behalf of the people, facilities, and research efforts that have contributed so much to our nation's capabilities and our technical understanding of rotorcraft phenomena. So, why did we select Langley as our fourth vertical flight heritage site? The Langley Research Center has had a distinguished history of powered lift technology development over the past 95 years. This research has formed the foundation of knowledge for the vertical flight community worldwide. From aerodynamics to structures, aeromechanics, powered lift, acoustics, materials, stability and control, structural dynamics, and human factors, Langley has led significant advancements in vertical lift technologies. For nearly a century, the center has contributed to the understanding, design, analysis, and flight test development of experimental and production vertical flight aircraft configurations. Beginning with Technical Note 4, the problem of the helicopter in 1920, the center quickly rose to international leadership in fundamental aerodynamic research. Importantly, the center led development of the NACA airfoils, which facilitated efficient rotor blade designs. Langley also had a key role during the 1920s in disseminating European rotary wing research in the form of technical notes. With the development of the first successful rotary wing aircraft, the autogyro, the center began to undertake rotorcraft flight test programs and became an important intermediary between the military and industry. Principal flight test and aerodynamic evaluation of Army autogyros occurred at Langley between 1935 and 1938, featuring intensive studies into the problems of ground resonance. By 1938, the NACA had published 11 technical reports, 10 technical notes, 14 technical memorandums, and 4 aircraft circulars dealing directly with rotary wing aircraft. During World War II, Langley supported the Army's fundamental aerodynamic and structural studies of the first generation of military helicopters. In fact, Langley was the War Department's and the Navy Department's sole aerodynamic integrator of rotary wing aircraft between 1935 and 1945. The Army Air Forces conducted flight testing, but they relied entirely on Langley for both wind tunnel testing and flight evaluation during the autogyro era. During World War II, Langley was still the only government organization undertaking fundamental aerodynamic investigation on military rotorcraft. Obviously, as fascinating as this early foundational history is, the center continued to make incredible contributions to rotorcraft and fixed-wing V-stall aircraft, with a few milestones highlighted in your brochure. Suffice to say, in summary, that the research in experimental and theoretical aerodynamics, the collaborative research with the U.S. Army, the structural testing with the Landing and Impact Research Facility, LANDR, tilt rotor, aeroelastic, and acoustic evaluations, and so much more, make the Langley Research Center highly deserving of recognition as a vertical flight heritage site. Here, it all happened, with world-class facilities and world-class people who continue today to conduct impactful groundbreaking, and even ground-impacting research, and we hope will continue to lead the nation in vertical flight research in the decades to come. Now, allow me to read the citation for the award. Since its establishment in 1917 as the Langley Memorial Aeronautical Laboratory, the Langley Research Center has performed groundbreaking research to advance the state of the art in vertical flight. The center's research has contributed significantly to understanding vertical flight aerodynamic and dynamic principles, design requirements, and handling qualities through analysis, wind tunnel testing, and experimental flight research. Research at Langley has been key to the development and maturation of many novel configurations and has paved the way for the growth of today's global vertical flight industry. To the men and women of the NASA Langley Research Center, past and present, thank you for all you have done and continue to do every day to advance the state of the art of vertical flight technology.
All righty. So again, thank you, Mike, like I said, for this tremendous honor. So much of what we do is a collaborative effort between government, industry, and academia, and without the cooperation of all our partners, none of this would be possible, and we wouldn't be where we are today. So again, Mike, thank you for the recognition. And just the challenges of vertical flight, not just the challenges with rocket vertical flights, but the challenges with those rotorcraft moving around. But that's what we do. I mean, that's what we've done since 1917, and that's what we continue to do, is solve the tough problems. As lots of people have said today, we're not here to solve the easy problems. We're here to solve those tough problems, and we're going to be doing it for another 100 years, I'm sure, because there are plenty of there's never a shortage of tough problems, so we'll be doing that for a long time. So now, let's get to the thing we're all here for, unveil the plaque. So can I invite our guest up? Come on. Yeah, George, come on up. Absolutely. We're going to try to pull this off without knocking it down. Yeah, just, over there. Oh, well. Oh, 3, 2, 1, go. All right. I need to get back to my notes and see what's next. So we are going to place this plaque on a permanent display here at Langley in the very near future. And again, I just want to thank AHS, Administrator Bolden, Jawan, Mayor Wallace. Thank you all for being here today. I think now we're going to have a chance, if there's any media here, to talk to our guests, and we're going to have a little reception as well. I don't actually know where the reception, people are pointing. So it's back, I see all these people pointing at me, so it's back in that corner, so please stick around and join us. Fantastic day. Thank you all for being here.